Hey guys, Rooster here. What I want to do is I want to show you all some interesting finds here that I found about the Fukushima nuclear plant, the meltdown that happened there in Japan this a couple of weeks ago. And something has brought to my attention that has disturbed me since this story broke out, and I'm going to show you here. I found out, first of all, that the Haaretz newspaper put out a print that Israel security firm was in the Japanese nuclear plant, which was in Fukushima nuclear plant there in Japan. And I found out the name of this company that was there, and they claimed that they were installing security systems, and the name of this company was called Magna BSP. And where I found out the location of where this Magna BSP firm was from, it was even more disturbing to me because of some other stories that I'm going to get to here in just a minute. They come from Dimona, excuse me, and they're inside of Israel. And that right there, I was kind of curious about this because I did a research on a virus that was created out of the same location, and this virus was called Stuxnet. And when I went there, I found out that this was true, that they were there in the same location. This company comes from the same location in a military base there in Dimona, Israel, in the middle of the desert. So what I want to show you here is about the Stuxnet. First of all, is that the Iranian was under nuclear ambitions and trying to build a nuclear capability for energy purposes inside of their country. And the Americans and the Israeli government have been trying their best since the Bush administration had taken office to dismantle their ambitions and try to disrupt their agendas of building a nuclear power plant. And so what the Israeli government and the United States did is that they created the most sophisticated virus that ever known to mankind, which was called Stuxnet. And by their own admittance on the Haaretz newspaper and also the New York Times, they both admit that they were involved in this, in building and designing this, but they tried to be very secretive about it, not giving any details about it, but showing signs of celebrations of their success publicly on the camera and in council meetings around the globe. Wherever they met, they would talk about the subject and even and have smirky smiles about their success that they've managed to create a virus. And in this document here, they boast and brag about them planting this virus in a nuclear plant inside of Iran, causing this nuclear plant to shut down and self-sabotage and self-destruct. And they were successful about it and boasted about it here on this document. Now, on the New York Times, they get a little bit more detailed about about what this virus can do and where it attacks at and all this, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to let y'all read the articles and the links that I post below this video, so because I have other things I want to talk about here so I don't get caught up into that. So anyhow, here's also right after this nuclear facility went into meltdown inside of Japan. What we've seen here is Israel diplomats. Now they changed their identity. They went from the security company to diplomats, and then they claim here in this article from the Haaretz newspaper, claimed that they had no connections to the nuclear fears. I found that quite strange, very odd for a nation to sit there and say that they did not have any connections to this nuclear fears when no one was even accusing them of it. I found it quite suspicious for them to defend themselves before anyone's even accusing them or having any accusations pointed in their direction of involvements with what happened in the nuclear power plant. And that right there is also going to be posted at the bottom of the video. Another article that I found here is out of Japan. This right here is coming from many different people complaining about the Stuxnet virus attacking their offline servers via USB memory sticks. And here's going in details. For over a year they've been having a problem since 2010 till here now presently. They've been having problems with the Stuxnet virus. And when you go to find out, you go to find out that Israel created this virus, and then you see that they came from Dimona. And then when you find out the security company that was in the nuclear power plant was also from Dimona, from the same very location, and I found that very suspicious. And to me, because I think that this name of this company was fake. I don't think it was even in existence. I think they were covert operation. Excuse me, let me get my tongue from being twisted here. They were covert operated agents that were actually in the plant planting the virus inside of Fukushima. My suspicions became very clear here at this point. And then what I want to show you here is also, let me find it here real quick. This right here is from the London newspaper, the Telegraph. And what happened here is the Israeli security chief celebrates the Stuxnet cyber attack on the Iranian nuclear plant after they planted this virus in there, and they caused it to go into a self-destruct mode and destroyed their ambitions. They celebrated afterwards, and I found that was quite interesting that they're even boasting and celebrating about it, of their successes. And then here again on the Telegraph out of the London newspaper, they report here that they made a video that shows the Stuxnet as one of its successes, and I found that was very interesting. Now we definitely have Israel involved in creating a very deadly cyber virus that attacks nuclear power plants. And this is what's the big talk about right now all over the media, this cyber fear, the cyber weapon, and they were all referring and reflecting to this particular virus here. And now we're getting more and more evidence that it was Israel altogether, definitely 100%. So anyhow, then after we started talking about all this and bringing it to the attention to the public about the truth behind Israel's involvements with creating the Stuxnet, what they did is they decided to go with a different angle with their agendas. They created what you call an Iranian hacker, okay? And according to the Israeli government, is that there's an Iranian hacker who claims that he's going to revenge for the Stuxnet attacks on the Iranian nuclear power plant. And as they go into the information with this guy here, about this guy, they don't even give his name, but they have his age. Now I found it's quite suspicious. Now how is it that they have his name, or have his age, but they don't have his name? That was very suspicious to me. But they have all the information that he belongs to a commando group of hackers, a bunch of drunk boys sitting inside of, sitting on their couches, drinking beer and eating beer nuts, I don't understand this part right here, but how they have all this information, but they don't even have this guy's real name or who he is. But they just, this is right here was suspicious. So what I have drawn up in conclusion here is that Israel is intending to warn us that they're going to attack in the same way they did to the Iranian people, but yet they're going to make it look like the Iranian people are doing it, that are going to create this catastrophic event as a justification for a probably preemptive war agenda against the country of Iran. And then also we have this right here. You remember that they were saying on the news here this last week about the radiation plumes inside of the airspace. What I found was very interesting is that I found out that they were lying about the levels of the toxins in the air from this radioactive poisoning that was released into the air from the Fukushima plant. Because where they were lying at is that they were saying in the United States radiation monitoring systems revealed, they say here that they were offline. Now how can they sit there and give you an accurate level of what's really in the air if all of their monitoring systems are offline? And this was on the USA Today, which I found very disturbing, that they would even, that they would sit there and tell everybody a lie, but yet turn around and admit that they were not even online. This is extremely very disturbing to me. I'm very angry about this one. Also, it was reported on the Huffington Post where the U.S. radiation detectors under construction and out of service. Again, this is extremely very disturbing to me. And it was excuse me. It was also reported in the press TV inside of Iran that the radiation monitoring systems were offline as well. So this is not just an epidemic that just happened inside of America, but this situation has went global. So this is something to really pay very close attention to, because I think there's very dangerous levels of radiation poisoning in the air, and we're not being told the full truth about it. And then also I'm going to open up another browser here, and I'm going to show you some more stuff here. Also, what you see here is that Japan, back in May the 23rd of 2004, this is a very old article here, but what it says here is, that Japan's deadly game of nuclear roulette, Russian roulette, with a deadly nuclear bomb. They're trying to say that the Japanese nuclear plants inside of Japan are like a time bomb waiting to go off, claiming that all the plants needed restorations and needed updates and needed safety checks, and that are being falsified. No one's reporting accurately the information that are going on inside of their nuclear power plants. And then it left it wide open for, out of curiosity, to why that they built all of their nuclear plants on fault lines, which is a great question. I am kind of curious to why they also built them on fault lines, because were they already intended to be built there on purpose to create future catastrophics in the future that we live in today? This is a very good question. I'm very curious about that myself, and I find it very frightening, actually, to know that. But like I said again, all these links that I'm talking about right now will be at the bottom of the video in the information area. Also, malware affected Siemens, Win, CC, and PCS7 products, Stuxnet. This goes into great details from Siemens, but very funny and ironic about Siemens. Siemens denies anything right here about this Stuxnet affecting any of their systems. This right here is where the lie begins, from the German company. Because according to the articles that I've read from the Haaretz newspaper, from where I read from the New York Times, they said that this Stuxnet was specifically designed to attack this Siemens machines. It was designed to learn this Siemens machines to counteract it and to create a sabotage firewall in the systems, but look and appear on the outside as everything is normal. And the only way that they could do this was to have access to those machines, and the company inside of Iran had a Siemens machines in their nuclear power plant, according to the New York Times. And this was a very interesting find right here, that they're even denying that it's affecting their systems and stuff, but it's maybe affecting other people, blah blah blah. You fill in the blanks here, but anyhow, I just found it very strange that they would say that. And then also, this is a guy here. His name is Kaspersky. He has a Kaspersky's laboratories. What he does is he makes virus malware protection software. In other words, he makes virus protection softwares for computer systems and for high-level computer systems like nuclear power plants, etc., etc. And he goes on and telling everybody and warning everybody that the Stuxnet virus is a very highly deadly cyber weapon that is intended to affect communication systems, airports, ships, and even military installations. Now, in military installations is referring to nuclear power plants as well. Not just only that, but also power plants. Well, nuclear facilities is a power plant. They use them for also feeding power to the city. And pipelines, oil, and etc., etc., and it just goes on and on and on. But he warns about how deadly it is. He gives details about what it attacks inside of the system once it's planted manually by a USB memory stick. And then also here we have the nuclear power report 14 nears misses at the U.S. plant due to taxes oversight. And then I'm just going to go on, and all these links here are going to be posted. Stuxnet attack fears pushes our government to check its networks. Okay, see, they're already now concerned because none of their systems there are even checked out, and they're now worried about the vulnerability of the nuclear power plants being exposed to this Stuxnet virus. In other words, this is more or less of a warning sign. That means that their guards are down. They have no protection against it. And then we go on and we just look at more information here about the subject, and I'm just going to go through here. These are all more information here that I'm going to also post on the bottom of the list. U.S. is vulnerable to cyber attacks. Experts cautions. Again, we have where they're deeply concerned about their vulnerabilities to this virus attack and everything on here. This is a very interesting scene here, view here to watch. Is a Sky News report. This is an actual video, which I'll post a link in the bottom of the video. But it shows the spin that they, as a way of trying to debunk the actual inventors of this Stuxnet. They're trying to make it look like it's being delivered by black market. But this is what it is always about everybody being the fall guy. So it takes the focus off of Israel's creation of being the ones who are planting it everywhere around the world. And they try to spin it by saying it's terrorists, black market, who are doing all the terror attacks against everybody. But anyhow, this is Sky News talking about it and trying to spin it off the truth, and I'll put that in the link. And then also, in a computer worm, a possible biblical clue. Now this is very interesting, because everything in the Bible depicts exactly the end time prophecies about everything we're seeing today. But I look at this as not really a biblical prophecy. I look at this as a plan, but designed to trick the Christians into thinking that this is a God intent plan. And I will leave this to your thoughts. Even though there is a God, there is, in my opinion, there is a creator who created mankind. But I think that all this biblical hoopla is a part of the global agenda to indoctrinate people to be at free will, at wanting to give up on their lives. And I'll leave you with that thought. But before I go, I have something I want to play. And I want y'all to watch this. This is from the founder who actually exposed this. His name is Ralph Langner. He's a German researcher and computer whiz, is what I like to call him. This guy's a brilliant man. He's the one that cracked the Stuxnet's actual job. But I'm not going to play this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post this on the link, because it takes too much time on this video. I only have 30 minutes of this video to play, and my time is just about out anyway. So, but I just posted on there, and I'll just give you the crackdown on it. But he goes into details, literal breakdown. He's the first one who broke the actual codes on the Stuxnet and found out exactly what it attacks. So this is something definitely you must watch. You must really look at this, and please spread this information. This is very vital information that is endangering our lives, and I'm going to be straight up forward with you. We're not being told the truth about everything that went on in Fukushima. And we did find out that Israel had everything to do with that nuclear plant. So what I'm going to do here is I want to say thank you very much and for tuning into this. There will be another part coming to this subject if we find any more information to the subject. But as clear as I can say it, is that everything here is going to be posted at the bottom of the video that we found on it. And I believe that this is about as smoking gun as you can find, as close as you're going to get to the actual people that played inside of the role of this meltdown that happened in Japan. So by saying that, I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, hopefully that there's not going to be a next time that we have to talk about something as negative as this, but you know what they say, they come in foes. So I mean, it's like a dominoes falling one on top of another. So I hope the best for all of y'all. Good luck.